Let's start with some of the news from China that's causing concern about the state of the economy.
Yeah, it's a new survey on China's manufacturing sector from HSBC showing activity there is at an 8-month low this month in March. And the bank says that's adding to concerns over the slowdown in Chinese growth. Not much sign of that pessimism on the markets today, though. A sea of green across the Asian markets, as we can see there. Even the Shanghai Composite managing to keep in positive territory despite that news from HSBC. The Nikkei in Japan closing up 1.8%, that over those sharp falls we saw at the end of last week.
Well, from the stock markets to the currency markets, and businesses here in France say they're suffering because of the high value of the euro.
Yeah, that's right. One of the big factors moving the stock market in the past 12 months has been the value of currencies. Let's have a look at what happened to the exchange rate between the dollar and the euro in recent months. You can see the trend was growing slightly, the euro getting stronger and stronger, closing price in recent trading up almost to the $1.40 level, and the euro is the highest it's been since 2011. That means that European exporters are finding it harder to sell their products abroad as they're more expensive to those buying outside of the Eurozone. In southwest France, the problem is affecting those aircraft manufacturers that have sprung up around Airbus's headquarters in Toulouse. From there, Chris Bachman reports.
It's showtime. Daher Sakata may not be a household name like Airbus, but it's France's fourth biggest airplane maker and just unveiled its latest six-seater aircraft, the TBM 900. They cost €3.5 million each, and 80% of them are sold in the US and Asia. They are market leaders, but the company says they are competing against their rivals with one arm tied behind their back.
The high euro makes it very difficult for us to sell at the right price. So we have to invest much more than other countries in innovation, in robotization, automatization, in order to compensate the price of the euro.
3 hours away by car is this supplier, Ricardo. It has a niche market making parts for aircraft that are still flying but no longer being built. Just 15% of its business is outside the Eurozone, but management is under pressure from clients to bill in dollars, and that could mean less work for subcontractors in France.
To compensate for the fluctuation of the dollar, we have to buy a maximum of raw materials and components in dollars. So we're obliged to look for subcontractors outside the Eurozone.
Both companies say maintaining the aerospace know-how in Europe is their priority, but extremely difficult in the long term if the high euro means their overheads are automatically 20% higher.
Now, staying with news from the aerospace sector, in the Asian low-cost airline Tiger Airways is buying 37 new Airbus planes. The A320neos have a list price of $3.8 billion. I can never get that right. Although the company says it negotiated a significant discount on that list price. It's a major expansion from the Singapore-based airline, which currently has 48 planes in operation. South Korea, meanwhile, is to pay $6.8 billion for 40 F-35 fighter jets from the American firm Lockheed Martin. Seoul also confirmed plans to buy four unmanned aircraft for more than $800 million to monitor North Korea. The figures were reported to a committee which is overseeing military purchases for South Korea. And Apple is said to be in talks with American cable company Comcast over a new streaming TV service. The Wall Street Journal says the proposal would see Comcast provide special bandwidth for a set-top box made by Apple. Such a deal would ensure faster streaming speeds for programs watched using the service.
All right, well, Stephen, just before you go, a word on our top story, the municipal elections in France. How much are they costing?
Taxpayers will foot the bill for over €128 million for the cost of these 2 rounds of voting here in France. Let's give you an idea of how that breaks down among where the money goes. The biggest proportion goes to reimbursing candidates' expenses, €51 million. In fact, this is reimbursed by the state under French law. Candidates get reimbursed for what they've spent. Printing election materials, both what gets sent to voters and the ballot papers in polling booths, cost over €26 million, and staffing those polling stations on the 2 days of voting, that will be yesterday and next Sunday, cost almost 11 million euros. Now, this at a time the French government is, of course, trying to reduce how much it's spending publicly. The cost of this election is less than the parliamentary elections in 2012. They cost 164 million euros, so significantly more than this round. And the presidential election, Rochelle, I can tell you, cost almost 200 million euros back in 2012.
Pretty pricey stuff. OK, Stephen Carroll, thanks very much for that business update for us. All right, well, coming up in today's Focus, we look at an arbitrary detention system in China based on re-education through labour.